Welcome to the Flora and Order Time Chat. I'm so pleased to be joined by a fellow Kristy today, Kristy Hunter, someone who really understands the power of making time for what matters most. As the founder of Hunter Marketing Co., Kristy helps service-based businesses build smart, sustainable strategies for growth. And one of her big passions is making sure that marketing has the space it deserves, not just as a task, but as a foundation for long-term success. So in this chat, we're exploring what it takes to stop reacting and start planning with purpose, whether that's with your marketing, creative work, or any part of your business or life. It often gets pushed to the bottom of the list. So we talk about doing less but better, building space into your week for the real focus, and why consistency often matters more than intensity. So welcome, Kristy Hunter.
Thank you so much, Kristy. It's so good to be here.
Aw, thanks for coming along. So let's start with something we both see all the time. People saying they don't have time for the things that move their life, their business forward. And in your world, that's most of the time marketing.
Yes, it is.
So what's your take on that? How do you help people shift out of that reactive mindset and make room for it?
Yeah, I guess the process that I take with my clients is helping them gain clarity on what are the actual priorities in their business and marketing. And once you have that clarity and build some key foundations with your marketing, then it gets easier to learn, how can I implement better? How can I do this really sustainably? We talk about time blocking, but it's all about what the, key activities are that are going to move the needle the most and being consistent. So that's the stuff that I talk about in my programs with most of my clients.
And time blocking, it definitely is one of those key ways of getting something into the week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think once you have that clarity and understand what those key tasks are from a marketing perspective, it does make your life so much easier and you feel less pressured and less overwhelmed as well.
And because in your business, being a marketer, and so you need to do marketing for your own marketing.
Yeah.
A bit of like a babushka doll almost. Like.
Yeah.
How does time blocking work within your week?
Yeah, so I look at where my creative energy is naturally for me. So, and again, this is, ways of, working this out for yourself, generally speaking. Where do you feel your most, energetic? Where do you feel your most creative? When are you in the mood to actually do your marketing? And for me, it's usually on a Thursday or a Friday where I know that it is possibly a little bit quieter, and I deliberately, block out my Friday, generally speaking, for that, creative time. And that works for me because I don't have generally because I'm a solo parent, I don't have my kids on a Friday usually, unless it's school holidays like now. It's schedule's a bit all over the place. But generally speaking, that works for me. And because I've met with multiple clients during the week and I'm talking to them about, what are their pain points? What are their challenges? How are we solving their problems together? And then I'm inspired and go, right, I can talk about this, because I've helped them solve a problem during the week. And it's going to be relevant for, potential clients or my audience in general to obviously get some tips and tricks. And so I get really inspired during the week and I'm writing notes and I'm, putting things in my calendar or, content calendar around what I can talk about. So Friday works for me, but it might not work for everyone. It's identifying, what's that optimal day that you can just block out. It's not even a full day, actually. It's, I say, look, even if you've got 2 hours in the week or 3 hours in the week, at least you're doing something and you're keeping consistent.
Yeah, even an hour, you're pushing something along. It's chipping away at it.
Absolutely. And I always just bring it back to what is the business goals, right? So that's where we start. When I talk about priorities, it's usually, well, we want a certain, number of sales or revenue for the month, that we want to be hitting? Are you actually focused on the right activities to make that happen? And so bringing it back to what are your goals, and are you focused on achieving those goals with those activities? Because if you stray away from that, you can kind of go and have that reflection and go, right, is this related to increasing my revenue or getting some new clients? If not, it gets pushed.
Yeah. And prioritizing it. So it is so much about checking back into those key points, or those questions that you ask yourself, like, what is this actually connected to?
Absolutely.
Because like our brains are great at having these great ideas, but it's like, do we need to action them all?
Exactly. Yep, exactly right. Yep.
And I like what you were saying about inspiration. So like you're taking inspiration through the week, but then tapping into like your energy, or like, is this now the time that I'm bringing this to life, or isn't it? Because especially with marketing being that art and science kind of thing, it is that, yes, you have to get this done, but also is the energy right behind it? Like, are those things coming together?
Absolutely. And if you feel like, because I know, there's definitely Fridays where I'm not necessarily feeling it, even though that's my dedicated day. I just look at the big picture and go, what is one or two things that are kind of small that I can just progress? So it might not be writing a full blog, for example, but it could be, well, what are some topics I could think of? And that's where, ChatGPT and other like AI tools can be really useful on those, days where you're just like, oh, my energy's just not there, or my brain is just not there. But at least you are, moving the needle a little bit on that day.
Yeah. And I suppose linking back to that question about people saying, I don't have time for these things. It's just small things really make a big difference. So even if that's your starting place, if I don't have any time for doing this, just doing a couple little things will really help.
Yeah. So that does really work, even for me in my business on those days. But it's I think we generally do put pressure on ourselves as business owners to just achieve, do more. But it's actually not helpful to be in that kind of doing mode constantly.
Yes, for sure. And even just before we popped on, and you commented on school holidays, and it is just taking a check-in of like, well, this week is a bit different to normal, and like what's my capacity like, rather than beating ourselves up.
Absolutely. And I said to myself this week, well, what matters most this week? If I can get it to, being productive across, one or two things, and just making some progress on those one or two things, then that's fine.
And I liked what you said as well about, well, there's that harmony in life too, about it being a real special time. Like your boys it's their last year of school, and that's only going to happen once.
Absolutely. And I want to be really present. And that's the good thing about being a business owner, the flexibility as well that comes with that. And look, I have my goals, and I certainly do put pressure on myself to achieve them. However, my boys are only going through this once in their life. Like, this is a big milestone moment. So, being present with them is really, really important. And, again, you weigh it up and go, what's the priority? And at the moment, school holidays, like my children are my priority, and my business comes second.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And I think that's really important to check into, and linking that back to what you were saying about support tools, and even just asking ChatGPT, or those times when you just can't do it all yourself, or it's just not, how do you recommend someone kind of get started with that? Because I know there's a lot of mixed messaging out there about, like, some people love it, some people hate it.
I would say use it to brainstorm, use it to help you create frameworks. It's a great tool for, getting creative as well. So if you've got those kind of creative blocks happening, but you might have just one thought, you could just, plug it into ChatGPT and say, I need to create a blog this month. This is a topic that I'm thinking of, but maybe just give me 5 other options that you can think of that would be good. So, you've got to plug in, what you do, your business, that would be a good starting point so that ChatGPT really understands your business and what you do and your unique value proposition. Once it has that data, then it can actually produce some good content, or at least content themes. I would also say, if you're at the point of, using it to write your social media content or blogs, just think about introducing your tone of voice to it and making sure that that is consistent, because you can really tell when someone's just fully relied on, ChatGPT or Claude to write it on their behalf. So I think that, people have, like, not everyone, but some people have just become a little bit lazy and they're just pumping content out just because. I tell all of my clients, don't do that. Again, get it back to that, I would like to see quality over quantity, and make sure that what you're producing is meaningful and really connects to your ideal customer.
Yeah. And I suppose that's like with the time blocking, that links with the quality, because you're giving yourself that space to actually do something worthwhile. Is that what you see?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think if you have, only a couple of hours, have that mindset of, this needs to be quality rather than just pushing something out, because people can, see immediately, that the quality's not quite there, and they'll just stop reading your stuff. So it's not about, pushing stuff out constantly. That's not sustainable and it's not great in general. So just take the pressure off yourself. And when you're time blocking, focus on doing it at just at that high quality, producing some meaningful content.
Do you see that a lot with your clients, that there's this pressure to be like on all the time, or to be like putting stuff out constantly?
Totally. I had a client recently, she went through my last program, Marketing Plan in a Day, and what we talk about there is, again, making sure that your marketing is sustainable. Now, she was pumping out 1 LinkedIn post a day, sometimes more, and that was her only channel. And I said, politely, you need to stop that, okay? Because you need to be across multiple channels, but also you're putting pressure on yourself to pump something out every day, and it might not be high quality. Now, since we've gone through the program, I said my recommendation was get it down to 2 or 3 high quality posts per week, and her analytics in the back end, the results are there. She's like, I can't believe me doing less has meant that I'm like, my content has been more impactful. And I said, yeah, because you were obviously, the quality possibly wasn't there, and people might also get sick of seeing you pump stuff out over and over again, right? Because it's really hard to, have that content that is going to create attention every single day. Like, that's a lot of pressure, unless it's like your full-time job as a social media marketer, which it's not for these business owners. Again, you bring it back to what matters most.
Yeah. I really like the use of the word sustainable. Just it using that in this sense in marketing and just like across the board, it just makes sense really to.
It does. It
Yeah.
does. When we're so time poor as business owners, we're wearing multiple hats. We're doing so many different things. We're stretched. It doesn't make sense for you to put so much pressure on yourself to just do it all, or even step away and go, I can't do any of it. In terms of the marketing sense. So it's best to do a minimum amount and be consistent.
Yes, yeah. And over your business's lifetime, what have you seen change in the form of like habits or expectations that you've put on yourself? That what's changed over time? That
That's a good question. Look, I think as a marketer, initially when I first started the business, over 7 years ago now, social media was just like everyone was so focused on pumping out so much content. And because back then, it was, you could actually get, a lot of customers that way. And look, you still can, but it's harder. It's harder to do that. So I felt there was a lot of pressure just to turn up every single day. And now I'm just like, no, you don't need to. If you've got, these social media coaches and influencers and social media marketers out there telling you you have to, it's just not the truth. It's really not. So that I see as the key difference to when I kind of started to where I am now. Having a presence matters, but I don't need to be posting every day. In fact, I can tell you right now, I'm probably averaging one post a week, but I might turn up on, for instance, Instagram stories a little bit more because I'm just so busy. And again, I'm focusing on what matters most. And people don't notice that you're not posting as much.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's very comforting to hear.
Don't feel pressured.
Yeah. And I suppose it is like even just that, you're saying from 7 years ago to now, there has been a change. And it's, if we're always on the go, we don't have that time to kind of stick our head up and, do some professional development or research about what's happening and kind of change with the times.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I do spend usually around December time kind of analysing and what's happening in the market. And, so that's how I keep up to date with what's working and what's not. But I'm also a bit of a contrarian. So, with trends and things like that, I think the other thing that, business owners feel pressured about is following the trends. And again, it lasts for a day or two. Don't worry if you're not, up to date with the trends and doing it. Don't feel pressured that you have to just follow what everyone else is doing. In fact, I urge you to do something different.
Yes, I like that. Yeah, because I see some of the trends you mean by like the Barbie doll box or
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you saw it was done to death, and I was like, I'm sick of seeing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to waste 2 hours on this. For what purpose? Does it align with my business goals? No, it doesn't. Is it going to get me new business? No, it's not.
That's so true. I saw a line the other day. It was like what was it? It was would you rather be popular or paid? And
yes.
And I was like, well, that's really, I don't know. I found it very comforting because I was like, am I doing this because it's a trend, or is it actually aligned with my business? Is it going to do the good stuff for me?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's we do get caught up with that whole shiny object. It's we get easily distracted, I think, in business. But if you have that in the back of your mind, it might look cool and it might be fun to do, but is it actually worth your time? The answer is
Mm,
usually no.
yes. Do you personally have somewhere to park like ideas that you're like, you're not ready to action on, but maybe in the future? Do you have somewhere to park them, or how do you deal with that kind of the shiny shiny object?
I'm a sucker for like lead magnets and things like that. So I will download stuff and then file them away, and
Mm,
then I'll review them at the end of the year. Like I don't get me wrong, like I do get a little bit distracted sometimes, like I'm not perfect. However, I tend to just save that resource and then review everything at the end of the year, and again go, what's the most important thing for me to look at here? What's going to
mm,
be the most impactful thing for me and my business, but also for me to share with my audience and my clients?
I really like that. You've mentioned December a few times.
Yeah.
Like that's your time to look at what you've collected, and I'm assuming you delete before going into the new year, or like the stuff that you haven't looked at or don't like, or
I just push it to the side. It's I'm really quick to understand what's impactful and what's not,
Mm,
because marketing is this ever evolving and changing landscape. It moves so quickly, and so because I'm kind of, I guess, in deep, I can decipher what's important versus what's not. So that's just my process that I take, because I know for my business and a lot of service-based businesses, including my clients, that December generally tends to be quieter, and I'm just not getting the phone calls, the emails, and I take time off. I usually take 2 to 3 weeks off to just recharge and, spend time with the family, and then do my planning for the next year as well. So
Oh, I like that. Very nice.
that's a process that I've kind of adopted probably the last 5 years, and it's just really set me up really well for the year ahead, because I'm really intentional about, what I want to be achieving.
I like that. Did you do you have a word for the year, or like a or a theme, or in your brain now?
I like, intentional was my word last year. This year it was, let me think about it. It wasn't ambitious. It was something like, I think affluence.
Oh, nice.
That's the word. Yes.
I like that. I like that.
So I will be thinking about my word for the next year. I don't usually set, those, new year kind of resolutions per se, but if I can just find that one word that really resonates with me, then I can kind of keep that with me, and I'm reminded why I'm doing what I'm doing throughout the year.
Yeah, I agree. Several years ago, I changed over to the word for the year, and I just found that was really grounding.
Definitely.
Much more than
I think it just so much pressure on ourselves to hit those goals, and then when we don't hit them, we feel bad. And I'm just a bit more of a positive thinker, and and so I just encourage people to think about what really resonates with them, and then keep that in the back of your mind.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I really like the message here around take the pressure off. Rethink, like, does this align with the priorities, and also make your business a priority. Give yourself time for that. And, thank you so much.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me today, Kristy. I've really enjoyed the conversation.
It has been very nice. Thank you.
No problem.